I had good hair once. I got complimented, and now...
Once?
Well, it never
There's
stops
like a lot
raining.
of room up here.
I know. Well, it never stops raining around here, so...
What?
Forget it.
You don't love the rain?
We all have
Love
the
the rain.
drowned rat look forever.
Forever.
I think we're just going to skip spring. It's ridiculous. That's what I heard today. So are we skipping spring or what?
Spring is sprung.
No, it really hasn't.
Well,
No, we are down pretty far.
you could get your 7 days of sex in.
There you go. There's nothing to do outside.
Yeah, might as well
Stay inside and have some fun.
work on some intimacy.
Yeah. So, yeah. Did you get your 7 days done?
I'm going to try that. If you got your 7 days done, I'm going to... There we go. If you got your 7 days done, leave. Just put a check mark. Check.
Leave? Did you say just leave?
Leave. No, but you know what I mean.
Just leave. Just leave now.
A check mark, a thumbs up, done. Yeah.
Yeah. But we are going to talk about
We're on
intimacy
day
and
17. Man, talk
15.
about failure.
15. Yeah, we decided to keep going and see what happens and see if we can, like I said last week, kind of go to the next level, up our game a little bit, just see what we experience differently with each other and different types of intimacy. And I tell you, I love how Tim said last week, go till failure, because then you really start looking into other ways to be intimate, not just sex.
Because I failed, she's failed, we have failed. We
But
failed.
we don't want to get too detailed here because this is the public one today.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, no.
So when you're ready,
No, okay.
go-
But we want to talk about other forms of intimacy because there is a lot of forms of intimacy. And several years ago, I wanted to bring up this book because this is the podcast that we follow. Ooh, can you see it there? I don't know. Can you see it? It's called Strip Down. It's 13 Keys to Unlocking Intimacy in Your Marriage. And
they started with 60 days.
60 days.
Yeah, come on, Greg. 60 days.
So that's a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I think another challenge
That's a
is
long
finding
conversation
other
with your
ways.
spouse
Long
before you start that.
conversation.
Hey, by
Yes.
the way, I think we should have sex for 60 days. Straight.
And he'll probably say, no.
Yeah.
And then you start the conversation seriously.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of different ways that you can be intimate with your spouse. Because I think there's a lot of couples out there that they may be intimate in one area and not in a lot of other areas. So
Like you might have
they
the
might-
sex stuff down.
Down. Hey, when we get in the bedroom, everything's great. But we can't talk about finances. We can't really talk about the children. I can't really bring up housework or chores. We don't talk about, in-laws or
You don't know
family
how
or
I feel
anything.
emotionally.
Yeah.
We're
so,
not connected through all
but
the
get in the
leads.
bedroom, and we don't have to think about any of that other stuff. Let's just get down to business. And I think that's a
Doesn't
huge
that just
issue.
become rote at that point?
Yeah,
You're,
yeah, it's
You're
routine,
having
it's-
rote sex.
Yeah, it's just
Wow.
routine. There's nothing more exciting about it, and you're not going any deeper with your spouse.
Not at all.
And when you start realizing there are a lot of levels to going deeper with your spouse and figuring them out and what has made them who they are from childhood and how they grew up, how they were raised, and then build that into your marriage and have grace for it, it really shifts and changes a lot of things in your marriage. And we've really kind of had some breakthroughs and eye-opening things over the last couple of weeks.
And this was the key thing of why I said in our last video, if you're doing 7 days this month, because it's 7-day month, go to failure. So if you could do 7 days and everything works just fine all of the time, then I would urge you to go to 15 or 14 days until you can't. For a guy, the thing
Careful.
doesn't work. For the woman, you just can't mentally get to that space.
Yeah.
So go to failure, and that really does force you to be intimate
Takes the focus off of you.
a different way. And so being intimate a different way, again, helps you build intimacy through your marriage.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, and I've said this before, sex is a byproduct of intimacy.
Yeah.
It is not intimacy. So when you're having sex, again, usually sex in the bedroom, if it sucks, that you have an intimacy problem, not a wrong partner problem. You just have an intimacy problem. So this is what 7 days is designed for. To start you thinking of, let's remove sex because I know I'm going to get it every single day. So now I need to be intimate in all of these other ways because when we finally get down to doing it, I really want her to be engaged or I want him to be engaged, and these are the things that I have to do to get there.
Yeah.
And that involves all of the intimacy.
And I think that's really important. So let's talk about financial intimacy. I know a lot of women that have no idea how much the household brings in. They don't know how to pay any bills. And I know of
Women, me.
I know of an older couple that the husband passed away. She knew nothing. She didn't even know when to take out the garbage. She didn't know who to pay. She didn't know how much they were in debt. She knew nothing because he instantly died. And of course, nobody wants that to happen. But you have to know these things.
Yeah.
This is your household.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a balance here. And I know that some people monitor, if they really know how much they make, but this is a part of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to know these things. And I think it's important for whoever is on one end of the spectrum, if you are not intimate in that area, let's talk about it. Talk about it with grace. Don't just go to the spouse and go,
you're spending too much money at Target, knock it off.
Yeah. You need to say, okay, honey, this is how much money we bring into the household. This is how much goes out every day or every month.
And this is your budget for shopping.
This is the budget. And vice versa. If it's the husband that's constantly buying stuff on Amazon, every day there's stuff coming home all the time, or buying cars, or buying guns, or buying their things.
I love that Amazon box. It just comes in.
But then whoever pays the bills goes, honey,
yeah,
curb it a little bit. This is how much money we have. And this is what we have to do with it. And sometimes we have a very quick budget meeting. It could be even in the shower, because talking about money is a little bit easier when you're naked.
Talk about money when you're naked. Yeah. Budget meetings in the shower.
I just paid taxes today. Ugh, I feel sick to my stomach. But he needs to know this. I'm more the financial.
We are now broke for the next 7 months.
We went through Dave Ramsey.
Please like and subscribe to this video so we can get. Oh wait, that doesn't work.
But he's the free spirit and I'm the nerd. But it's vice versa in a lot of families. And I think we're on the same page. We know how much we make. We're intimate with that. We're not yelling at each other.
The other thing is that it's always said that two married couples argue about one thing: money or sex. So, out of all of the different types of intimacy, get those two under your belt, and then the rest kind of almost fall into place. Because if you could talk about
money and sex,
you could talk about anything.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Especially, I want you to do this, or have you thought about doing that? I want to invest in this, or I want to do that.
But it really becomes a conversation, not a blame game.
Yeah.
You're spending too much money, knock it off. Well, we needed clothes for this, and we needed that for that. Okay, that's not a conversation. That's like a defensive blame game going on. Have a time that you set aside and go, look, honey, this is the budget. And, I know that we were planning on talking about this anyway, but our podcast from, I think, a week ago that we listened to on our One Extraordinary Marriage, they talked about writing everything down that you spend in 1 month. And we did that last year because we're like, where is our money going? So for 3 months, we did that. Every single thing down. We're like, wow, we're spending a lot on that. Yeah. Let's curb that. And then the next month, it went down.
It was eating out.
Yeah. So
she likes sushi, and she likes really expensive sushi.
And I like really good
groceries. And I am broke.
So I had to curb that, even though I'm more of the saver than he is, but I really had to curb that because I like to spend money on that. So that was visually. It was right there. And you know what? If you're the one to blame on that,
you got to own it.
You got to own it. Okay, I'm going to do better. Let's work on this together. This is our money. It's not his money. It's not my money. It's our money, our marriage, and let's figure this out. But before we go, I want to talk about a couple others. Emotional intimacy and spiritual intimacy. And I think emotional intimacy is really... I think men want to be emotional too. They may be the stronger kind.
I have no emotions that I am aware of.
I'm aware of them. But I think it's important to ask each other...
Oh, wait, let me do your hair again. Got it.
What can I do? Babe, how are you feeling today? Not, hey, how's it going? How was work? Get back with the kids and blah, blah, blah. No, really, look at each other. How you doing? Are you okay? Are we okay?
Yeah.
What's going on?
We're
do
great.
That a lot. Are you okay?
I do.
You do.
I check in a lot.
You check in.
And the reason why I check in a lot is just to see if we are okay, honestly. Just, if she's working, I'm working, we're in separate offices, I'll go in there and go, are we doing okay? And usually that means you're not touching me enough. Because I'm coming in there going, hi.
15 days and I'm not touching him enough.
But it's different intimacy. Like this.
But I also know...
this.
I also know that when you say that, it's an open door that if I have an issue, I could totally talk to you.
Yeah.
I know that I have your full attention, that if there's something going on, I can talk to you. And that's a big deal. I need to know that I can have a conversation with you and talk to you about stuff, and you'll really listen to me, and vice versa.
And that helps with doing any kind of day challenge that I'm trying to clear her head, Hey, how's it going? Are we okay? Am I an issue from you wanting to get naked later? What can I do so that you're not thinking of the 50 million things that you have to do to get to the point to where you want to be intimate? How can I serve you and do that?
Yeah. And I think it's also important to be spiritually intimate with your partner.
Yep.
And that can be really difficult, if not impossible, if you have different faiths.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a faith, because I know we have a lot of people that don't go to church or have different faiths, I think as long as you are on the same page with your partner, that's huge. And talk to them about it. Maybe they don't want to talk to it. Maybe she's gone to church for years and he doesn't, and he just doesn't want to be part of that. That's a break. It's really hard because this is your soul we are talking about.
Yeah.
This is a very intimate part, almost more than the physical sex. This is spiritual. And it's important to talk about those things. Have similar beliefs and faiths. It depends on how you raise your children. The atmosphere and ambiance and environment in your home to have the same spiritual focus and direction. And maybe you don't have a spiritual focus. Maybe it's just about being peaceful and quiet and calm and loving and kind, which is all great things, but I still think you should have some
common ground.
there.
Find some common ground
Find
with
some
your
common
spouse,
ground,
even if they
Yeah.
don't believe in the same faith that you have.
I think that's good.
But
Find
some common ground.
That's great.
And then build on top of that.
What do you believe?
Right.
What
Because
do we believe
it's
together?
never going to be successful for you to go, you're going to church with me because we need to have spiritual intimacy. Telling your spouse that isn't going to work.
That's not.
So
that will not create spiritual
model-
intimacy. I guarantee.
It doesn't matter what your religious belief is, but model your faith with love.
Yeah.
And that will go farther than demanding they have the same faith as you.
Yeah. So I think that's
I try
really
to
important.
walk that very carefully.
But I urge you guys to get this book. It's really cool. It's called Stripped Down. It's 13 Ways to Unlock Intimacy in Your Marriage. And they do talk about 13 different ways. And I think those are the biggest ones. But they have questions and answers. I love workbooks to fill stuff out and go,
And
"What do you
this
think of
will
this?"
help with
Well, it's
the
fun.
spirituality and the financial, all of the leads, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially. So, and that's the whole point of doing it for 7 days, so that you can connect on every level and not just one. Because a lot of times, us guys, we get so focused on the thing that we want, that if we have it all of the time, then it helps us go, oh, there's
Hey,
some
there's
other
something else
stuff
in
that
the
I could
world.
be helping out with. She's picking on me. There's nothing else in the world.
All right.
All right.
We love you
So
guys.
again, if you have done your 7 days, check.
Woo-hoo!
Thumbs up.
Congratulations.
Down below. Not.
And try it, because
Yeah.
obviously, there's different times of the month to try things. So if
Wow,
you haven't done it in the
yeah.
last 7 days, well,
Yeah.
schedule it.
Fit
Find
it
it
in
out.
your
Put
month.
it on the calendar. Hey, next month we're going to do this. Let's give this a try. Let's see what happens.
Share
it
this
learn.
video because more people need to have more 7 days. And like this video. And if you have any comments or if you want to have a question answered, we will answer that privately with you. And if it's a good topic, we'll ask you if we could do it, but we won't say who you are.
Yeah.
Emily Brown.
Poor thing. Oh, no. You
She
got to
didn't
stop
have a
calling
question.
people out.
I'm just playing. We don't call anyone out that has a question, but she just popped up. So.
All right, so I'll put the link to our private group where we talk about a little more intimate stuff, but this is the
Yep.
video for the week,
Yep.
so we love you guys, and we will see you next Monday.
Toodle Pitky.